Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunszenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey, hope you're enjoying the content. A huge thank you as well just to my patrons quickly, not only those who currently support me, but those who've been part of the Zenith in the past. It's a pretty phenomenal feeling to be supported by other players, not just in the Maverick or Legacy sphere, but those who just enjoy Magic content. My content will never be behind a paywall, and these patrons allow that to continue to happen. You may have also noticed I've stopped adding ads during my YouTube videos, and that's not just a quality choice, but also a direct outcome of having people support me through platforms like Patreon, doing a nation deck list. So a huge thank you to you. I love what I do. I love being a community member of the Maverick and even Depths communities, the wider Legacy community in general, and it's a privilege. So thank you. All right, let's get back into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a Abzan Mav stream. This is probably pretty close to the list that I would want to play at Eternal Weekend, with a few new cards in Legolas's Quick Reflexes, Bowmaster of course, a good mix of combo hate in the board, as well as some extra removal in cards like Path to Exile or Force of Vigor. Path I think is pretty strong right now against decks like Blue-Red Delver, but also Scam as well, having something that hits Troll and Grief, and obviously against Reanimator as well, if that's going to be a fast combo deck that players want to play. Just a nice removal spell against large creatures that doesn't affect our way to beat them via the clock. So pretty keen to see how this goes. I really did want to play Once Upon a Time. I think that Harry and Achilles playing Once Upon a Time just shows you that that's kind of the way to go. But to find room for extra non-creature spells like Quick Reflexes, and I did want to play a Library, those three slots is kind of where it went. So Quick Reflexes will be interesting. I do like it with Library, as you don't have to draw it when you potentially don't have a creature on board. But in this version with 26 creatures in the main deck, I think it should be online most of the time, so we'll see how that plays out. All right, let's get into it. Legacy League, play points, EW Mav, gameplay. A huge shout out to all of those who took part in the Eternal Weekend deck techs. I'm the last one to put live with Mark Strassman on YouTube. Hopefully after this, if not tomorrow morning first thing. Really cool content. So big thank you to Mapson, Clips, Achilles, Harry, and Mark for them. And of course Dennis as well on Abzan Depths. That was really cool to get as well. Alright, on the play with a pretty great hand. We have Mana Acceleration with 2 lands. We have a few bears that are pretty vanilla in a few matchups, but with the removal of Swords of Plowshares, this hand is pretty well set for anything, so happy to keep this. Question is, how do I want to lead? I could go with Ignoble Hierarch off Savannah, which gives us access to white, which means if we draw something like Wasteland off the top, it allows us to actually Wasteland and Thalia. If we go Bayou into Ignoble, that doesn't occur. I think I'm pretty happy for that. Savannah, Noble, pass. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully some of you who are listening to this are playing an Eternal Weekend with Maverick or Depths, and to you I say good luck. Fly the flag strong. Okay. Grief, Pitching, and Tomb. So this is most likely Reanimate. Or I should say Reanimator. Which we do have 2 good spells here in both Swords and Ooze. which is a little bit tough because Grief obviously here is going to take one and then most likely take another. But then a follow-up of Thalia is pretty nice as well. Can't be too unhappy with that. Hey Dwart, thanks for the follow. Hope you're doing well. Let me know if you play Legacy. If you have a local scene, what it's like. I'd love to know. I think Grief here is exactly what I want to get into play. I don't want to see like a ritual into something else. Animate Dead would be great because it is something we can interact with. Okay, there we go. So Outland Liberator as well is a removal spell in this case. They probably take Ooze here. The nice thing about Thalia is the first strike, which means that if we cast it off the Bayou and hold back Ignoble Hierarch and Thalia, you can just double block this. First strike then deals with the Grief, and it doesn't really trade off with any creatures. I could try to slam Knight here, but I do like the thought of yeah, holding the fort, taxing their mana, and then potentially casting the Knight the following turn. Typically a combo deck I'm more than happy to see. We have a lot of great ways to interact with their creatures. Well, they are going to attack. Maybe they actually want to get it back. That's pretty interesting. And take another creature. So they have 3 cards in hand. I think the Knight is just too good that I would rather let this go through. Hey, Past, welcome. Yeah, I think actually I'm just going to allow this. The 2 damage isn't too relevant. At least for now. And I want to get the Knight into play before they Grief us. It would have to be Reanimate. Unless it was Ritual into 2 mana Reanimate spell. Okay. Most likely eluding here, just to set up potentially the next turn. And how they loot will also give us a pretty good idea of... No, double black. Ooh. Ah. Makes sense. Okay. So the attack with Grief, if we do double block, they take out the Thalia, and then Bowmasters gets taken out by the Grief. Okay. Beast. Okay. Down comes a 3/3 Knight. The next turn with Cradle, we actually have 2 mana for Ouphe, and then Cradle into Beast, which is pretty nice. If they attack with everything, I don't want to block the Orc army, because another Bowmaster would deal 1 to the Knight, and then grow the army to a 2/2, which would trade with the Knight. So honestly, I could see an attack here, even if they don't have one, which I think is a great attack. I think there's no way that I'm blocking this, so kudos to my opponent for seeing that. I'm going to assume this is Reanimator with just Bowmasters in the deck, just because of the power of the card, not some sort of black-red scam deck. Well, there's a troll, so maybe actually I spoke too soon. Okay. Ooh, okay. Now we get to have some fun. Okay. So what we want to do here is... I don't think we can get everything into play, but maybe we can because of the quick reflexes. Like, what if we go Ouphe into float a mana for Legolas's quick reflexes, get Cradle, that's 3 mana, untap the Knight. I think it's Ouphe. Use the Knight, untap with quick reflexes, and then use it again to get Questing Beast into play. So we can go... We can also hold up the reflexes. No, we can't. Interesting. I definitely want to sack first because I don't want to quick reflexes and then have them play a Bowmaster if we fight the grief to then kill the Knight. And I do want to get the untap as well. Yeah. It's like this. Get Cradle. Use green to untap Knight. Opponent having a read, potentially. They're going to try to do something in response, but of course they can't because this has split second. Interesting, which makes me think they do have the additional copy of the Bowmasters. This is fine. If they're being a creature here, we obviously want to tap Cradle before they say get rid of the Hierarch. Cool. Then add to 0 cards here, which is pretty great for us as well. I can just get a fetch here. Could also get a Wasteland. That doesn't do a whole lot for us, though. I think I will fetch into Scrubland as that gives us all our colors. Nice. Now we have a really nice board. Very cool for Legolas's quick reflexes to come up in game 1 as well, of match 1. Looting for 3 mana is more than fine. They do discard a Grizzlebrand, but we do have the Scrubland still to sack to the Knight and access to Karakas. I mean, Green Suns off the top for, say, Scavenging Ooze. Actually, Scoot's in the bin, so we do have an Endurance still. Renegade Rallier is pretty sweet. That can actually get back Scavenging Ooze. Oh, okay. Do we have enough mana if we Renegade Rallier? Yes. Yes, we get to sack the Scrub. We turn on Revolt. We go and get, say, a Savannah. And this allows us to play the Renegade Rallier, get back Scavenging Ooze, use the floating mana to take out the Grizzlebrand, let's say, and then still have 1 mana open for anything they try to get back. Yeah, really, really cool to see Renegade Rallier there. So this is going to be probably how I sideboard for Reanimator. I don't care about Orcish that much. We do like the Endurance, we do like the Surgicals, the Paths. Quick Reflexes were nice, but I guess they do allow us to protect some things. I feel like the Ouphe doesn't do enough outside of Lotus Petal. Plague Engineer I actually don't mind here just because it is a clean answer to Bowmaster. I could see the Thalias coming out just because of Orcish. But if they don't have it or have already used one, it is quite good. I could see just the parts for the Quick Reflexes. I think that's a pretty easy trade. Quick Reflexes relies on a creature already in play, whereas Path is just a nice clean way to deal with threats. Outland Liberator isn't too bad for Animate Dead. Grist is a little slow, but I think it's quite good if they go a little bit more mid-range. Bowmasters is still great, seeing Grizzlebrand and also their creatures. I could see Scryb Ranger coming out because of Orcish. And then probably Artisan. I think Artisan is just a little bit slow, but it is nice to have one. That's pretty much it. I don't mind like Thoughtseize or Deafening Silence on the play, but probably not on the draw. A Surgical or an Endurance and a removal spell, along with, say, 3 lands, is the 5 that I want, and then anything on top is gravy. 2 ways to interact, 3 lands to play my spells. So with the Endurance hand, probably a green card as well. 2 green cards, even better. There's the Endurance, there's the 3 lands, there's the Grist, Double Mum. Double Mum isn't too bad against this style of deck. Obviously, Orc can be a bit of a tough one, but that's most of the cards in this deck, so. Hey, meta. Yeah, Goif, that's actually a fine cut as well, the library. Especially knowing about the Orcs. We will keep this. Opponent's gone to 6 cards. I assume they take either the Grief, oh sorry, the Grist or the Endurance. It's actually quite nice to know as well. Oh, they take the Grist. Potentially they could reanimate the Grist as well. That's always a little bit of an issue. But we have beaten it on stream before. I'm not going to worry about Magus of the Moon here either. Okay, reanimate on Grist. We're just going to go for Savannah into Mum here. The Grist also putting cards in their graveyard is a little bit scary. Plague Engineer is a great start. I mean, even just for the insect tokens. I could see them trading. I could see them ticking up Grist. Reanimate on Grief. Okay. It does take the Plague away, which makes things a little bit more difficult. But now I kind of get the feeling they have to tick down the Grist just to get the mum off the board. We can also endurance ourselves to get the Plague Engineer back into the deck. Opponent takes the free 1 damage, and then most likely will sack after. I feel like because you stated that you would have fun with Skeleton Tribal, I feel like then Skeleton Tribal is the answer. I feel like next turn we're just going to be holding up the Endurance. Thoughtseize. Okay. We are hitting a mana, which is really nice. Next turn we'll have 3 mana with all colors, which is great. So it turns on anything we want to draw into. Hey Ben, welcome. Boyd, sorry, Sleep Talk, welcome. Hope you're well, my friend. I take the Knight. Can do 6 here as well. Ooh. Okay. That's nice as well, because now we can play this Endurance proactively without having to be reactive to some sort of reanimate spell. They've already used 2 reanimates. They could reanimate one of our own things, which at least then what we can do with Surgical is just get rid of the one in the graveyard and then fail to find those in the library. Just because you Surgical a card doesn't mean you have to take out all copies. So they're going to attack knowing about the Endurance. Here we could play the Endurance, double block, give Mum protection from black, and then the Grief exchanges with nothing. So what I could try to do is Surgical first to see their hand, because if it's land Orcish Bowmaster, I don't really want to trade with the Grist. The issue is, there's nothing that I really want to get rid of here, other than probably Reanimate, because every other reanimation card can't get our creatures back. So I think here I am happy to Surgical first on Reanimate. This will give me full information about what they are wanting to do. Ooh, Magus. Animate Dead. Dark Ritual. Okay. So what they're wanting to do is post-combat Ritual into Animate Dead and get it back. What we should also look at is how they sideboarded. So they have the Magus and a Blood Moon and a Traxxas, the Voidwalkers, the Bowmasters. Okay. So we know about these 3. I actually don't mind targeting myself. I kind of want those cards back. I wouldn't mind them. Ooh. Okay, this is... Yeah, okay, so one thing to note as well is the Grist, which I believe they haven't ticked up yet. Let's have a quick look. No. So we're actually in a good spot because the double block we give pro with black from Mum, which also means the Grist can't tick down and target the Mum with the insect. It can take out the endurance, but then we get to attack with the Mum at the Grist next turn anyway. So we double block. Mum pro black. And then thankfully here they can't ritual into Magus. They need the Badlands for the black source. Punishing Waterfalls. Hey Matt, hope you're doing well. I saw you were playing some ninjas before. Very cool to see. Are you playing in Eternal Weekend? Do you get time off, or are you doing other things? Wow, they do go to sacrifice. This is really interesting, because now we get to deal with the Grist. Not in a situation where you can attend. That's more than fine. That's fair enough. I guess they get to play the grief. They get back endurance. Interesting. Okay. Huh. I guess that makes sense. It's a bit bigger. Still have one back floating, but it won't do anything here. Alright. If we draw a land here, we can just cycle away the Nurturing Peatland off the forest. Ooh, Thalia is actually quite strong here, with them at only 1 mana. And then, are these green and black insect tokens? So endurance and the token are both green. So next turn we will be able to attack in and kill the Grist. Because I don't see a card off the top that allows them to play the Magus this turn. So now we're in a really nice spot. Ritual in the bin. Always interesting to note, like, oh, they got a troll. Okay. Get a Badlands, play a Badlands, I assume. Interesting that they didn't get a swamp, because now if they draw into another source that isn't a swamp, they play the Magus but won't have any black. Especially with cards like Doithy and 2 rituals already in the bin. But maybe they have a plan that I don't see. Ooh, okay. Let's go pro green. Because it is black and green. Cool. And then let's attack Grist. I could return Thalia and replay, but I think here I'm happy just to hold up the sword. They don't know about this card either. And if it's another endurance, they might not want to attack into that. But they say, hey, you're at 12. I have a full turn clock. Let's battle. Which I think here I'm probably happy to take this. Because if they play land Magus, I probably just want to float the mana and get rid of the Magus. And next turn we have these back, so... yeah, happy just to untap here. Nice. That's a Dryad Arbor, which is relevant. Now there's a nice little stalemate going on. So they find a swamp, which is pretty key. Play the Magus. Get rid of it. No great attacks here. Jittery, welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Happy to get Dryad Arbor out of the deck. Swords is another good feat. We're just going to pass back here. Potentially get aggressive the next turn, but a troll is still a bit of an issue. So I do want to find a way to punch through the endurance, but also keep a removal spell for something like troll. I'd only cast the swords on a creature currently on board if they cast, say, Thoughtseize or potentially a Grief. Noble's not too bad. Although I'm still not in the position to be able to like pro green and attack. We just don't win that clock, that race. But the extra mana is quite nice because it means that if we find green suns, we can green suns for Scooze and eat in the same turn. Troll, Orc, Entomb. Definitely a few things here. Okay. I'm going to assume it's just an Archon. Could be a white creature, like the Sarah, that gives protection from card type. But I'm going to assume Archon. Archon. This is currently game 2. We got up game 1. Okay, just a land I don't really care about. Interesting as well, I feel like I've been really taking my time with this match, but they are down 6 minutes. Ooh, okay. That probably means we're happy to start considering probably swordsing the endurance next turn and then just start getting in with creatures. I don't want to attack using the mum just because of Orcish Bowmasters still. But I'd be very happy to surgical an Archon. So let's start with swords on endurance. pretty happy here just to get in with the Thalia. Probably the Arbor as well, to be fair. And then I probably play the Heath. I could keep the Heath. Hey, Sato, hey, Sam, welcome. Yeah, I think we're in a pretty commanding lead, which is nice. Especially with Surgical as backup. Could even do tricks with Thalia here returning and still being able to pay for Surgical through Thalia. Tomb is fine. I mean, another Archon would be great because it's just one more card we get to hit with Surgical. Probably happy to keep this as just unknown information. Goif, that's a great one. Yeah, I could have definitely seen them go for a flashback on looting, even though it takes 4 mana. They have the 4 mana to play with, and maybe getting rid of some of the cards in hand would just be where they want to be. Hey Dan, a big thank you for the 19-month streak. Are you playing Eternal Weekend? Get some time away from the fam, which I'm sure is difficult as well. Not just physically, but also mentally. Pretty sweet hand. We have Someone Mum turn to Library. We have quick Reflexes and Ooze for some beats. Mana's great. Happy to keep this. Last seen Doomsday? Oof, okay. You are probably correct. I think that with Exalted there, I could have just been attacking with a Thalia. That's very true. There's no real reason, even considering Bowmaster, to attack with both. If anything, it just opens up the Dryad to be eaten. Ponder chose to not shuffle. Oh yeah, okay. I think it's just going to be Plains Mum to give like the D&T vibes. Next turn, Thalia off Windswept. I'd probably rather get Thalia down before I try to get Library down, even though it does tax us. Oh, Savannah. Okay. 1 mana open. Could also go for a basic here. They don't look like the Wasteland type, but typically if it is like a 4-color deck, it might potentially be a deck that plays Loam with Wasteland. I think it's fine getting a Forest here, especially with our current setup. They're going to float a white. No, they're going to float a blue and Brainstorm. Guess we'll see. Cycles. Lorien revealed. Okay. Trop. Okay. At least if they Uro, we can potentially Ooze and eat it. This is definitely a matchup where I'll talk a lot more about my turn on their turn and then just try to play in F6. Because these games can go long. Up the beanstalk. Okay. I mean, this does mean the library is uncounterable, which is nice. Hey, Dan. Good to see you. Liberator's also interesting. As it would allow us to potentially get rid of the Beanstalk. Plan to play Abzan Depths? Very cool. Very nice. I like the library because I'm kind of digging for mana. I would like to make sure I'm hitting each land drop from here on out. But they haven't cast a real removal spell other than swords so far that I kind of want to get the Liberator in play to potentially take out the binding or at least try to flip it. I'm gonna... I guess if they spend some of their turn binding on library, that's not the worst for us. I think missing land drops is pretty brutal, so I think it is going to be library here. Which isn't easy, but... Okay. This makes me think of Leyline Binding. Still costs 2, I believe? With the Thalia? Yeah. Hit the library. That's fine. Cradle would be sweet here. Cradle allows us to hold up the reflexes. Thankfully, we don't miss the land drop, which is pretty huge. Pretty happy now to play the Liberator. They do have a mana open for that card that I don't really want to say what it is. Ooh, I was going to say Force of Will, but getting this into play is fantastic. Here's another cycle. That is fine. This also kind of forces them to cast a spell on their turn, which is a great position for us. The more they're tapped out, the better. And if they try to get rid of the Liberator here, we have just Destroy and then hit Binding. 3 blue. Uro, that's fine. Now, this is an interesting spot. I think it's worth taking out the binding here to see if we can just draw some cards. If they have another binding, that's just life. There's not too much we can do. I don't think I'm in a position where I'm going to untap, attack. Potentially not even attack. I mean, they could have endurance. I think I'm definitely trying to see what's up and trying to get some value off this library. Ooh, it happens. Upkeep binding? No? Green-black Bowmaster. Okay. We get to save the Thalia here. I think that's worth it. And then I'm actually just going to probably draw an extra card here. Unless it's a land. If I draw a land, I won't. So I do want to eat that Uro. That I think it's worth trying to look here and give them a token. Yeah, there it is. Probably put the mum on top, but pay for the green suns. Because green suns for... Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Take 5, I guess. Thankfully this has hexproof, which is nice. Attack. Kill the orc. That's fair. I think for Eternal Weekend as well, I think for any large event like that, I would most likely go towards a deck that has kind of a I win button. And that being Depths. Ooh, we do get it. That's pretty nice. That in Depths is just so strong. That it's also put up a lot of good results. Although, mind you, like Harry and Achilles have been doing pretty well with Mav, Mark as well. But when you look at like the top tables, you do see like Abzan Depths come up a fair bit. Terminus. I don't mind that. Like, these two creatures have kind of done their role. Thalia's taxed. Ooze has eaten the, Ooze has eaten the other stuff. Put on top, but I will pay for this, I think. I could Renegade Rallier back the Liberator. Could also try to get a Grist on board. Let's have a quick think. Green Suns for 2 is also Fiend Artisan, which is kind of cool. It gives us 2 threats. Quick think. Quick think. We're at 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use. Yeah, I don't mind 2 spell. Knight and Fiend. We're gonna force that, sure. Which is also another creature for Fiend in the bin, which is kind of nice. Alright, let's 6. Oh, did I update the list? Apologies if I didn't. I don't think I did. Here we go. Now it should be there. Sanctuary's fine. Get back revealed. Thanks, Ben. All the best. Did they get rid of the library or the Fiend Artisan here? Okay. Ah, okay. That's a yikes. I guess we draw a card first. See if we can draw into Outland Liberator. Oh, sorry, Orcish? No. I mean, Renegade Get Back Knight is kind of cool. Grist by itself doesn't seem that great. I guess I can also get back Liberator. Okay, and then a response fetch so that I definitely have mana open. Okay, I don't care about that. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Not easy for them. I assume they're not playing Prismatic Ending as well. I think just one. I think just one. All right, draw 4. I mean, they're down to 30 cards. Interesting. I think here I'm happy. They do have this up, which could be Orc. But I think I'm happy looking at the library. Okay. 3 and then 3 left. Ooh, I don't want to go to 1. Go to 5. Oh, we can go to 5, yeah. Play a land. Play knight. Fetch to 4. Scrubland, might as well. Alright, Green Suns. There's a force, sure. I assume they're playing 4th Relingus as well, so they definitely have a win con before they deck. So decking isn't really a thing here. Yeah, how are we boarding? I really like Gadokteeg. Gadokteeg is great. I probably like the extra endurance and the carpets. I'm probably happy dropping down on Mana Dorks. The Force of Vigors, most likely as well. Typically a decent way to try to deal with Beanstalk and Leyline in one big thing. Yeah. I like Plague Engineer out. I like Collector Ouphe out. The quick reflexes are interesting, just being split second protection, but potentially not enough. I guess against like Gadokti, like we want the Gadokti, we want the Force of Vigors and the Endurance. We probably want the Carpets for 2 creatures as well. Thoughtseize is always interesting, like Surgical, but Plows can actually, yeah. Like we could try to just go with Surgical as an answer to Uro. They could be playing like, say, Containment Priest or something, but we do have Bowmasters and Grist as removal that also just are built-in disruption as well, which I like. Fiend. Scryb is annoying for some decks, for some things. Is it enough though? I don't mind having a Scryb. It could be. I just want to have like a clean answer to deal with Uro. Like Karakas isn't really great because they still gain life. Play things. Like we could potentially ooze it. Thoughtseize is definitely interesting. I guess Orc's a little bit of... Actually, Orc's not too bad. Maybe it's something more like this. I do like Beast to finish off games. I really like Knight, Liberator, Ooze, Fiend, Mums. Carpet, yeah, Carpet is okay. I think Carpet's a little easier to rely on than Manadorks. Hey Mark, welcome. I kind of want something like this. Something like this. We'll see. We do want to pretty like interesting. Turn 2 Knight off Dryad Arbor. Not that great, to be fair. Like, there's no way they're not keeping a hand that doesn't have, say, swords or force. So the Knight probably isn't untapping. That's if we even get to turn 2 with the Dryad Arbor still alive. I think if the second Endurance was like another land, I'd be pretty happy with this. I did sadly take out Choke at last minute. Honestly, against this sort of deck, I'm probably happy just to keep a 7. Forest, Green Suns. And then Windswept Heath gets us a Scrubland. Triome tapped would be a good start for us. Seems like hold up sword. Second Knight is pretty nice. Okay, I'm not too unhappy about Force. But obviously, like, Orc here would be pretty tough. Yikes. We can try. Okay. No white mana as of yet. Spell Pierce. Double binding. Okay. Plains. Nice. That's a tough one. Maybe not. I guess we might as well make them use one. Ren 6 is banned in Legacy, correct? Tough. I don't think... Yeah. Maybe it was the keep. We did and ah about it. So I could definitely see it coming down to that. I typically try to keep maybe like a 3-lander against most control decks. And of course that one wasn't. I think potentially it was just a little bit too greedy of a keep. Relying on Dryad Arbor against a deck with things like swords and Orcish Bowmasters is, yeah, not a great place to be. But to show the power of something like Carpet in the place of those cards. If we had Carpet, it would have been pretty nice, of course. Happy to keep this. A lot of 2-drops, but I think we're okay with that. Happy with just Verdant Pass here. Yeah, I think just a little bit too 3-drop heavy. Ooh, Merfolk potentially? Okay. In that case, I'm happy to try to get the library down. Cabin, cool. Nice. This card's pretty cool. Alright, let's see that third land. Tough. I think here it's just going to be... we can't even... Yeah, I probably should have paid for the Knight. I thought for a second we had 2 green sources, which allows us to shuffle with the green suns as well for Dryad Arbor. But that is not the case. Tide Shaper. Okay. I do have to be weary of the Flash Hexproof Lord. Which I think here we just have to try to, like, if they have the that one, at least we have the Orcish Bowmaster to take out the Hex Catcher, I think it's called. Okay. Silvergill. Interesting. So Knight's on top. Then 2 fresh cards. Okay. I mean, we could try to just collect Ouphe and Wasteland here. But I think Bowmaster is where I want to be. And honestly, I think the land is better for us. So I think what I want to do first is Bowmaster the Silvergill Adept and then just Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. Ouphe is pretty good, but there's a world where if I play the Ouphe and Wasteland them, I feel like if I Ouphe, I have to Wasteland them, and then they might just go wide. But we do also have like Fiend Artisan for Plague Engineer. But yeah, definitely a tough one. This is fine. They don't attack, okay. Yeah, we've definitely rolled back the times here with Maverick verse. We can't do anything with Flash here, so this is just going to happen. Okay. Okay. On top. Land. They did miss a land drop. Yeah. I'm going to call this, it is nearly midnight, I'm going to call this a midnight error. With Collector Ouphe here taking out the Vial, I should have definitely Wastelanded. This takes him off any sort of like 3-drop, which could be backbreaking. Hopefully that doesn't go back to bite us. But obviously if you're going to go after their mana in something like Vial, go after their real mana with Wasteland. Usually works out pretty well. Okay. Okay. Now they can give, well, they just have Island Walk. Yes. I do want to fetch here because we know the top cards are just lands. Hmm. Hmm. Put on top, put on top. Grist. Sack the Orc, take out the Master. Wasteland doesn't do a whole lot here, but it does keep a TNN off the field, potentially. Is there a world where I want the Wasteland? Next turn, they most likely attack Grist with all. Or attack us with a Lord. If we get a turn, we have access to 1, 2, 3, 4 mana, which is currently these two. The Wasteland's nice, but I think TNN's just a little bit too hard to deal with. If they have a Lord, they have a Lord. Another cavern. Me? Interesting. Me, Grist, me. Pretty happy here to see if we can keep the Grist alive. But I assume there's tricks here. They played the cavern first as well. So we go to 1 and the Grist goes to 1? Now we get to look for Plague Engineer potentially? No. Yeah, we're actually just dead. Yeah. Tough. I feel like sequencing there I could have done a lot better. We like the parts. Don't mind the forces. Especially like going wide. Thalia can come out. Endurance isn't the worst. Scryb Ranger is obviously fantastic. Ooze I do like. Maybe just the 1 endurance. Beast is nice to attack and block with. Bowmasters is good. Carpet might be good. Library can most likely come out. I probably don't want both forces, just because we have Collector Ouphe and Outland Liberator. And I do like the Hierarchs because they do work well with Artisan, which Carpet doesn't. I think something like this is fine. Look, not great. It is kind of like turn 2 Ouphe into Rallier, get back a land. Ouphe, Rallier, get back this, and then have Dryad Arbor open with Grist. That's still a little bit too slow. Like, it really relies on them having a vile hand that doesn't do a whole lot. I think there's a better hand. This is sadly not it. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Okay, not the worst. We can play with this. Yeah. Okay. Honestly, the Wasteland plan I'm happy for in this case. I'm happy to build up my mana here. Because I have the plains, I'm going to go for an Ignoble Hierarch. Give me 2 black sources. Oh, they went after... Okay, that kind of makes sense. Ooh. That's kind of cool. They've already used Dismember as well. So this will save some time. That's no fun. A fetch is actually pretty good here. I might also just want to swords this right now. Just so it can't be saved by a Vex in their turn. I wonder if they kept the Silver Gills in. I could trade a token here with this. I probably don't mind that. But we'll see if they have a... No. Are we rewarded? The trigger goes on the stack, correct? Yes. We were rewarded. Nice. Okay. Now we have 3 mana. Okay. Honestly, that makes me pretty happy to draw a card here. See if we can find another threat. We can't, that's fine. I'm probably not blocking with the Bowmaster, so I will just attack with the Bowmaster. Getting some damage going. I'm happy to see if they have a Flash Lord. Probably rather it be on the field. No. Wow. Okay. Happy to hold the land as well. Okay. So they get a 1/1 here. Green Suns for Fiend Artisan into Plague Engineer would be sweet. Wasteland's not too bad, doesn't stop that route. Ooh, okay. We can also fetch for Dryad Arbor with this Verdant Catacombs. Interesting they Trickster now. They could have Trickstered in our upkeep next turn to stop the Fiend from activating. But maybe they just want to get aggressive here. Or have another one? I think here we keep the Bowmaster around. 2, 5, go to 6. One, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm happy to take this. Okay. Oh, dismember. Tough. Really tough. That sort of matchup makes me want like a Plague Engineer, but I wouldn't expect Merfolk at, say... Yeah, I wouldn't expect to play against that sort of deck. Too much to think about. But I think that Plague Engineer is probably the line. And I think that maybe in game 1, trying to get Fiend online earlier was where I made a misjudgment. But yeah, even mana in the first game wasn't great. Probably have missed Once Upon a Time a little bit. I think that game definitely showed it. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, not too unhappy. It's probably just the Ignobled here. Yeah. And we're... It's actually pretty interesting. I think getting the Noble online is better than the Mum, because it turns on Green Suns for 2, in case you're up against some sort of combo deck. DRC. Ooh, okay. This is pretty cool. So we get to attack with Noble Hierarch. Yeah, let's go attack. Gets exalted, becomes a 1/2. And then we get to go Legolas's quick reflexes, untap it. Hey, Granham. A huge thank you for the raid. We now get to play the Mum while also killing the DRC, which is pretty sweet. Really nice little play. Too kind. What did you just play? And how did you go? There is a world there where I want a Green Suns for Dryad Arbor, just to get another mana source on the board. Played lands and Abzan D&T. Very cool. A land here is very nice. Get to go for a Bayou, I think. I think a Bayou is fine here. And then play Grist, taking it up. Getting a Carax into the bin, which isn't the worst. Abzan Death and Taxes is mainly splashing for Bowmaster and Thoughtseize in black, and then green is Gadokteeg. Nice. Yeah, our Bowmasters taking out their Bowmasters is pretty sweet. I think next turn we're just going to try to Green Suns for Endurance to take out their Graveyard. But if they have Murktide here, they do have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 already. No. They're going to bolt the Insect. And then bolt the Grist? What's going to happen here? Do they swing both at Grist? Oh. So, what if we fetch for Dryad Arbor here and put it in front of the Bowmaster? I wonder if they have another bolt in hand and wanted to try to get the Grist down. Now the Grist stays at 4. Interesting. Put it to 1. Okay, that's fine. Wow, if they had the Orc going at it, ooh, that's pretty sweet. Do I care? The +1. Knight. Honestly, here I probably don't mind playing into Days just for a Fiend Artisan. That's fine. They do attack. That is fine. I think just because of, like, maybe the block there isn't relevant. Because yes, they could have their own Bowmaster. But their own Bowmaster kills the Grist anyway. Having the blocker. I guess this allows us to trade the Noble Hierarch with the Murktide, which is kind of nice. Ooze. A little bit too late. Honestly, I probably don't mind. Play Ooze and just hold up Legolas's quick reflexes. Reflexes does give reach. That's pretty interesting. They're going to force this, pitching another force. Insect. Hexproof as well is really good. Because it can't be Bowmastered. This gives us a nice out to draw Swords to Plowshares. Thalia doesn't do it, but I think I'm happy to get rid of Murktide here. And then play Thalia. Nothing end step is huge, no Bowmaster. Ooh, does the Grist get to tick up again? That's pretty sweet. Is it worth playing the land? Definitely attacking. I think it is. In case we draw Wasteland, I don't want to like have a land stuck in my hand. I guess the following turn, I could just play it. Wow, land pass. Dryad Arbor's in the bin, so we can't get that. Ouphe doesn't do a whole lot, but at least Ouphe does allow us to sacrifice it, potentially. Also a 2/2 against Bowmaster is pretty strong. We also have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures in the bin. 8 including Grist, if we did want to go for the ulti. Hey, Sind. But hey, a huge thank you to those who came in from Granham's channel. I'm Dukes on Twitch. I usually stream pretty fair decks like Maverick, like Depths. Yeah. Away this week, so doing a little stream tonight, but we'll be back to regular scheduling next week. Carpets are great. Paths are great. The endurance is great. I don't mind the endurance, but we're definitely taking out the Collector Ouphe The Outland Liberator. Not a big fan of the library, especially against the Grixis builds. Reflexes is nice. Thalia is fine. A little bit tough against the Bowmaster versions, but I don't mind it. Thank you very much, Granham. Always appreciate it. I could see a cut on, say, an Ignoble because of the carpets coming in, and probably just the Questing Beast, let's be honest. Yeah. I did see the Hogak deck. That was very, very cool. Sadly, here mana just isn't it, but pretty cool hand. A lot of mana, but we also have Scryb Ranger and Plowshares. Pretty happy to keep this and bottom the Cradle. Just because they're so good at keeping us off creatures. Cradle most likely is tapping for 0. Also, having basics early on against Delver is really nice. Yeah, love the old school forests. Delver, okay. Happy just to go forest into Ignoble Hierarch. This does mean if we draw into Wasteland, we can't say Swords and Wasteland at the same time. If we went with Savannah, we could. Alright, so they have a Daze in hand. Master. Grist. Okay. I think in that case, we're just playing the plains for the benefit of time. We're probably swordsing the Delver here. Even though Scryb Ranger has pro blue, there's a lot that can kill Scryb Ranger. And then pretty happy to pass. Next turn we can play Savannah Pass, or even Green Suns for something like a Ignoble Hierarch. Oh no, because we actually took one out. Ah, so we don't have access to black at the moment. Hopefully that's all good. Luckily, if we play Savannah and pass, they probably just think of Endurance being held up. And not Scryb Ranger. Bobble's fine. Bobble means they don't have DRC in hand, which is nice. Or else they would have played it first, most likely. Go to 15. Screws is interesting. I'll probably rather a Bolt go at Scryb Ranger. So here our opponent tries to Wasteland us, we get to go Scryb Ranger. Now we get to return the Savannah and save it. Nice. Sadly not checkmate just yet, but always a nice feeling to kind of get a one-up against Delver. They're attacking, so they obviously don't have removal in hand, so I'm pretty happy just to hold back the Scryb. Delver's fine. Another land. We still know about a daze potentially. I think here I just like playing out the ooze. We get to attack. I don't believe there's a reason to eat anything right now. Like I'd probably rather have the Ignoble Hierarch in the bin. Like I don't want to take them just off a Brainstorm here and potentially have a weaker Murktide. Force. Okay. It's good to know about. So they attack with everything. That's really interesting. Because I can only think of Bolt as a way to deal with Skoos. And we do have the creature in the yard to eat. So another, say, Orcish Bowmaster doesn't kill this one. I will untap the Scryb here, returning. And then see what happens. Floating a blue. Blue-red. Cast into fire. Okay. That's actually pretty nice for us because now we definitely get this ooze to... Oh, maybe not definitely, but I assume it's going to get up. They've already used 2 mana. So now I feel like I can block one of these 1/1s and not get destroyed. So if they have a bolt, it just deals with the Skoos anyway. They can't cast a Bowmaster here, which is nice. Okay, nice. Well. Play a Mum. See if they want to force it. Okay. Eat the Orc. Make this a 4/4. I think as a 4/4, this is fine. I could make it a 5/5, which means the Skoos would only die to another Bowmaster plus Bolt. If I also just keep this open for the Ignoble Hierarch, the Skoos can't die to just blocking and Bolt as 4. But I could make a Murktide potentially a little bit smaller. We know about the Force in hand as well. Huntmaster would be cool. Sadly, a little bit slow. But cool nevertheless. Yeah, I like just holding up the Ignoble Hierarch mana here. We know about Force, but we do have like Green Suns for Endurance and also Grist as a removal spell. Just the insect. I think that actually makes me want to just eat, say, cast into the fire right now. Because sure, they could have, say, Bowmaster and also Bolt for this, but then the Mum survives, so little things all add up. 2 mana. And here's the Murktide, so at least it's going to be 1 smaller. Which I guess turns on Legolas' quick reflexes off the top? No, sadly not. I actually don't think we have an out here. Like, we can try to get Grist into play, but they have the Force. We can go up to 8. Sadly, just didn't line up. Yeah. Probably going to run this back. Yeah. You can have the cards in your deck, but you got to draw them. I think post-board, we have a lot of great removal spells for their creatures. Okay. This is actually pretty nice. I mean, like, Triple Sword is cool, but having fetch into Carpet means we're going to get value off it straight away. Most likely. See what Ponder does. Chose to not shuffle. Okay. Always nice to get Carpet into play. Wasteland's actually good for us because it makes Knights 4/4s potentially. I would definitely play DRS, yeah. Great spell. I really want to try to get the Plague into play naming Human instead of using these Swords Plowshares on the creatures, so a land soon would be very nice. But potentially in this spot, I'm happy to get rid of the DRC, it's tough. And then just name Orc with the Plague. Okay. Mum's pretty nice here because if they do want to orc it, they have to fetch for another island. I could have also saved that with quick reflexes, but I don't want to expose my land. Maybe that was wrong. I think in this case, I'm happy to actually fetch for a just basic forest. And try to save this. Yeah, forest is nice because if they bounce the carpet, we can replay it potentially. We can get all other mana off the carpet as well. There's Wasteland, that's fine. Cast into fire on the... That's fine, okay. Hey, look at that. I am also happy to just get another forest. And just jam 3 drops into days. We're all sort of stage where like any land off the top is great, so we don't really care about them not having lands in play. Like I think we're in a pretty nice spot. Even though like we're not doing anything, I think 2 removal spells and 2 good threats, or a removal spell in Plague as well, I guess. Okay. This must be something pretty good. I mean, Murktide would be fine. We have 2 removal spells for that. And the path turns on carpet. That's pretty nice. They have 2 cards left. Let's make white. So the question is, if they have a force, do we then try to go for sword first? And they force that, and then we have the path, and they don't gain the life? I feel like we just path. If they have the force, they lose 2 cards, and then we just swords it anyway. I kind of want to hold the no. Just have it. I mean, now they're on 0 cards. A Murktide would only be a 5/5, which we could play Plague Engineer on potentially and then attack them with a Knight. Yeah, that's fine. I could draw a card here. Could also take them off Underground Sea. I don't mind that. Take them off Underground Sea and then name Human with Plague Engineer, which hits both DRC and Delver. So they have a 4-turn clock, and we have a 3-turn clock. Plus Bowmaster, potentially. Oh, okay. Okay. So we get to play the Scryb first, which is pro blue. attack with Knight and everything else, and then untap Knight as well. So let's go untap this, get this, and then play this. I think here we do just try to look for the last Legolas's Reflexes, because even if we don't, we put 2 cards in the yard to pretty much make it lethal. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I could also make it lethal with the Scryb by untapping the Knight. Sadly, no Sajiri step. Sack this. Get Peatland. Yeah. Let's do the lottery. Ooh, not that, but still pretty good. That is endurance, most likely. Could have untapped the Knight, but didn't need to. Okay. If I untap the Knight, I've got to return the forest and have nothing to sack to that. Okay, that's pretty good as well. I don't want to target anything here. Like, they had to have, like, Brazen Borrower or Bounce and then Bolt. I guess they could still have those 2 cards, but it'll be pretty hard. Nice. Very cool. Oof, nearly 1 AM. Last round, and then we are off to bed. But hey, a big thank you to all of you for coming in and watching. Always appreciate it. If you would like to find me on YouTube, you can of course find me here, on Twitter, on the Discord as well. Oh, that's not how you spell Discord. There we go. Alright, questing druid. I don't, a little bit slow. Like, it is pretty much a 6 with the Dryad Arbor, and I'd probably keep this as a 6. Would I? We can't cast the Bowmaster. Nah. We get better. This is a little bit better. I'm happy to keep this and probably bottom the Ouphe. I think it's Ouphe. Yeah. There's a world where you could say that Ouphe leads to more wins against like a combo deck, whereas Outland Liberator has a little bit of flexibility hitting enchantments, but like going to 6, you might just want kind of an I win button in Collector Ouphe and therefore keep it, but I think this is okay. Okay, a little bit of a rematch. Okay. That's a land for Ooze, but it does mean we have to find a land next turn, because Cradle, of course, doesn't tap for mana. Nice. Honestly, I kind of like just dealing with the threat in play. Nice. No Wasteland's pretty huge. I'm just going to roll out the Liberator next turn. It's a card I care about the least. I also want to try to get like 4 creatures in the bin. No fetch into turn like 1 CMC threat is pretty great for us as well. Another land is all I want, let's be honest. Bowmaster we can't cast. Like if they want to daze this, that's more than fine. Oh. I'll play the Cradle. There's a world where you don't play the Cradle, but I think they're going to probably bolt it just to keep the board clear. No. Murktide, potentially? Obviously. Let's just be quiet for a bit and see what they do. That makes it a bit easier. Murktide. Okay. I kind of want to move towards a black source. Oh, they forced that. Interesting, because now if we draw into removal, we actually have a nice little out. Or at least like one less force to worry about. Okay. Tough. This does put us out of bolt range, which is nice. I could try to Artisan that turn, that's correct, yeah. Maybe that was the play. We wouldn't know what we draw into, but we would need another creature as well in play, which would be 5 mana in total. Same sort of thing. We want the paths. We want the carpets. We probably want the extra endurance. We can take out the Collector Ouphe, the Library, the Liberator, Questing Beast, and probably one. Yeah. I want to see more Orcish. We haven't seen too many Bowmasters in this league. It's a one-lander, but it does have multiple ways to... No, I'm not a big fan of one-landers against. This is much better. Happy to keep this. Bottom the Knight, keep the curve nice and low. When it goes to 6, this is quite nice because it might mean they have to force it if they don't have a bolt in the opener. Because of course something like a Orcish Bowmaster can't deal with a turn 1 mum. Interesting. I kind of like just playing the Savannah here and passing with Scryb open. Ooh. Aha. Does it happen? No. Okay. That's fine. I think, yeah, I just want to get a forest and then go for Ignoble Hierarch. No flip? Okay. Ponder's fine. This means the Legolas's quick reflexes does deal with the Delver, which is really cool. And then we have the sword as a backup. We can also just quick reflexes first. Ooh. I think here I like just, yeah, quick. Actually, yeah, no, we get to attack first anyway. And now just quick this. And tap it for mana. I know there's a way that you can attack triggering the stack Legolases, but I'm never too sure how to click on it on MTGO to put like which one you put above that. I just did it kind of the layman way. Ooh, brainstorm into Wasteland? That is fine. Green Suns is cool. I think I just like Knight here as a 4/4. Okay. They're down to 1 card. They're down to 0 cards. The first one you click is the last one you resolve. Thank you, Eli. Too kind. So they have 2 cards. I think I'm happy here to go for Fiend. Ooh. I feel like if they had a Bolt, they would have gone after our mana. So I could just go for Scavenging Ooze here. Which is pretty nice. It would become... it'd be slow. Fiend Artisan would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Yeah. Look, we are 2/2. So let's just go for the... I think Fiend is correct, but I like Ooze as well, so we'll see how Ooze goes. Yeah, Fiend is better, but hey, look, look, the data says that Ooze gets concessions, Eli, so I don't know. I don't know. Oh, that's just game 2 as well. But yeah, I do think Fiend there is much better. Being a 5/5 as well means it doesn't even die to like Bowmaster and Bolt, which is pretty huge. I think we're just gonna run this back. 3 lands, removal spell. 3 lands and pseudo removal spell. I'm pretty happy with this hand. A little bit weak to a Bowmaster, but we also have a Bowmaster to get rid of their Bowmaster, so I think we're also in a position where we just go Savannah into Noble and then have the fetch up for Bowmaster. If they want to bolt this, that's fine. No. Underground Sea, okay. Two blue. What's 2 blue? Okay. There we go. I think here again I'm happy just to try to get mana online. And then get to a stage where they don't have a Bowmaster for my Bowmaster. If we could double spell next turn, that'd be fantastic. They potentially tap out. I kind of just want to pass here with Bowmaster open. Maybe not. Maybe I do just want to play Thalia and then see if they do anything and then potentially Bowmaster their Dragon Rage Channeler. Yeah. I think I'd like Thalia first. Oh, they're going to force that. Pitching a Murktide. Now they have one card left. I really don't like Daze. So I am just going to Swords the DRC here. Still have one sword for Murktide. We still have Green Suns for Endurance. I don't care about this clock. And I feel like, oh, I could take them off the Volk. That's interesting. I actually think I'm happy to take them off a color here. Should have done when they were tapped out, but that's okay. Okay, so no Bolt in hand. Ponder, sure. Chose to not shuffle. I feel like it's fetch into Bowmaster, but potentially not. Could also be fetch into Murktide, which I also wouldn't mind, because we just have swords and Orcish for that. Huh. Upkeep. Take out their Bowmaster. That's fine. This is where Cradle is really, really nice. Renegade Rallier. The last card is Daze. It's pretty tough, but I kind of want to attack with the Bowmaster with Exalted, see if they block, and then Renegade it back to kill the DRC. But they did shuffle off the last fetch. Again, we're 2-2, so let's see if we can get the cool play going. It doesn't play around Daze, of course, but that's fine. It allows us to save the sword for Murktide. Oh, they let it through. Okay. That's kind of lame. I think in that case, I'm happy to go for Scryb Ranger, which allows us to play the Thalia as well this turn. And turns on the Renegade Rallier next turn. Also potentially gets us back to Wasteland for the Volk. Have to attack with this. Okay. Wasteland. I think Wasteland's worth it here. One, two, three. Untap this, return this. Play Renegade Rallier. Trigger. Get back Wasteland. Wasteland the Volk. They don't float. Okay. I think potentially I can take one more attack off the DRC. But at this stage I might just be racing it as well and not have to use the swords. Oh, another one. Okay. Now that changes things. Thankfully we can play around days, because we get to untap the Noble Hierarch, which is kind of cool. Like Green Suns, Endurance, 2 great cards to get. Okay. I'm happy to take the DRC hit here and see what their follow-up is. 10 isn't a factor of any number that I really consider bad. I guess 9 is a little bit, but they have already used 2 bolts. No bolts. Okay. It's only a 4/4, which isn't too bad. I'm not going to fetch just because it is a factor of 3. Oh. Guess we get a free attack in with the Renegade Rallier here. Hey Jack, welcome. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying a bit of time off Magic. I think it's at 3 AM for me. There's no great attacks with them here if they don't have removal. Yeah. Wow. Okay. 2 AM? Cool. There's a force. We get a 5. This could flip the DRC. No. Yes. Of course, with a force. Now they need a really good card off top. Bowmaster would be great for them because it also gives them blockers for the swing back. Hey Dan Rowe. Hope you're doing well. I am happy to take this. I think the play there maybe was fetch for Dryad Arbor end step and then swing with everything. Yeah. Take out the Scryb. That's it. Tough. Close. Yeah. Damn. It's one of those games. Just one of those games. It is 1:15, so I'm going to go to bed. A big thank you to all of you for coming in and watching. A big thank you to Granham for getting in as well and raiding. I'm away for the full week, so I will catch you guys next week. I'll have 4 videos going up on YouTube in the meantime, including a deck tech with me and Mark, so definitely check that out. And that's pretty much it. We'll catch you next time. Cheers.